Following capturing the Commissioner's Cup in Vegas to Liberty, they were unable to make it 3 straight wins over the Aces. New York fell to Las Vegas 88-75 on Thursday night. And also, a Liberty star player is missing some important gear. We're going to talk some Liberty hoops with WNBA expert and founder of Girls Talk Sports TV. That is Khristina Williams. You see her on the screen. Khristina, how's it going?
Going good, Dexter. So good to be here with you all.
Always good to talk some Liberty hoops with you. All right, so the Liberty, they had 2 dominant wins over the Aces, including capturing the Commissioner's Cup, but they fell short on Thursday night. What went wrong for the Liberty in the 4th meeting between the 2 teams?
I think what went wrong for the Liberty was the Aces was able to exploit their offense and limiting Jonquel Jones. They were able to make her get into some foul trouble early, which really took away on both ends of the floor for the Liberty in that second half of the game, especially in the 4th quarter. The Liberty got close as 5 points in terms of the scoring, but then the Aces turned up their defensive efforts and went on a run, and they outscored the Liberty in that 4th quarter 20-11. The Aces were able to also make adjustments and utilize their bench early. Kirsten Bell and Alicia Clark, they both provided some valuable minutes off the bench for the Aces. The Aces was also able to out-rebound the Liberty 35-28, and in that Commissioner's Cup game, the Liberty bested the Aces 49-28. And so Chelsea Gray was also a huge factor. She had the first triple-double in the history of the Aces franchise, and everyone was getting touches on the Aces on the offensive end. I think that the Liberty just really was off balance once Jonquel was taken out of that roster rotation. And so that's what happened in that 4th meetup.
Yeah, you saw a lot about that with Jonquel Jones. As you mentioned, in foul trouble, she's been tremendous for the Liberty the last couple of months. And rebounding seems to be a huge, as well, along with bench play in terms of this matchup and who would win these games. But last time we spoke, we talked about how the Liberty had been playing their best basketball of the season. They get a split on this Vegas trip. They won the Commissioner's Cup. So do you think winning the Cup against the defending WNBA champs can do anything for this Liberty squad going forward?
I definitely think winning the Commissioner's Cup was a boost for this Liberty team, who has been preaching patience and team chemistry all season long, especially because Jonquel Jones won that MVP for the Commissioner's Cup. She's someone who had struggled on the first half of the season due to her foot injury, and now we saw her get that MVP at the Commissioner's Cup. But I think that for this Liberty squad, there's no reason to hit the panic button due to that loss. This is actually the first loss between the 2 teams where the margin of victory was lower than 10 points. And so I think that, yeah, these 2 teams, we know when they match up, they're going to give us the best that they can play. We're going to get really, really good basketball. And so we saw it happen at the Commissioner's Cup. We saw it happen yesterday. And I expect to see the same at Barclays when they meet again on August 28th.
Okay, Khristina, so you put me onto this as news broke before Thursday's game against the Aces that, yes, Sabrina Ionescu shoes went missing from the Aces arena. That is correct, folks. This is not made up. I know that you spoke to somebody familiar with the situation. What's the latest on this, and will it affect Ionescu for the rest of the road trip?
Sabrina addressed the media in a post-game media conference and said she still has no idea where her shoes are and that she hasn't heard anything yet. And you're correct. A source familiar with the situation told me that they believe Ionescu's shoes went missing sometime between after the Commissioner's Cup and before shoot-around on Thursday. We know that both teams did not have practice on Wednesday. And then a source with familiar with the situation also told me that the shoes were intentionally locked in a room that was next to the guest locker rooms that only certain arena staff and Aces staff had access to. And so we were told by that source that the Liberty staff will meet with the arena staff and review the camera footage to try to find the culprit. But as of right now, there have not been any updates in terms of the shoe gate. But we do know that these shoes are important for Sabrina because they've been modified to fit her feet because of past injury history. Hopefully Nike can send her a pair before today's matchup against the Phoenix Mercury. But yeah, no updates yet on where the shoes are.
I really hope Sabrina can get her shoes. And who's out there stealing shoes from players? Who's out there doing this? You don't need to do this. We don't need to stop it. All right, last thing, Khristina. We've seen 4 games between the Liberty and the Aces this season, 2 wins for each team. Got one more coming up. You mentioned this before at the Barclays Center on August 28th. What have you learned thus far about the 2 best teams record-wise in the league? And Is the final regular season matchup one that the Liberty need to win in order to increase their confidence level against the defending champions?
Yeah, I think that whenever these two teams match up, we're going to see some very, very good basketball in the game. As we see, it can go either way for both teams. But I think in order for the Liberty to win against the Aces, they have to play their game and play at their pace. We saw it happen in the last game that the Aces were able to throw the Liberty off and unbalance their game and limit their touches. But I think in this next matchup, the Liberty really have to move the ball well and move it super quick. And play to their advantage and exploit the mismatches. The Aces was able to get Jonquel Jones out of the game early, and they have to have some foul discipline moving forward because you can't have a player like Jonquel Jones, who is very significant in the lineup on both ends of the floor, out of the game for a whole half. And so I think that the Liberty, they have to do that moving forward and make those adjustments.
All right, we'll see if they can make those adjustments. That will be coming up August 28th when those teams meet again. The Liberty lost to the Aces on Thursday. They're right back at it. Khristina mentioned this before. Friday against the Mercury. Got to get back at it and see if they can get back into the win column. That is Khristina Williams, the great insider for Girls Talk Sports TV. Khristina, thank you for the time. Glad you have your shoes. I have my shoes. We're hoping Sabrina gets her shoes. Hope that happens.
Hope she gets her shoes. Thank you, Dexter.
No problem, Khristina. Thank you.